You're here listening to the Soul Expansion Podcast because intuitively you know there's more to life. There's something more here. And truthfully, we access that something more in our own bodies, in our own souls. We have all the wisdom we need. And when we can access this within ourselves, business, money, impact, and every area of our life becomes so much more easeful, relaxed, and abundant. My name is Kensie, and I'm here as your guide and your host, but this is your journey, so let the journey begin. Welcome back to the Soul Expansion Podcast. I'm Kensie, and we have a very special guest today. We are starting to do a new series where we're bringing on listeners and members of my community that want to ask me questions or get coaching support and are willing to be on the show with me as part of that process. So my first guest is Mackensie Hesperia. Did I say that right? Yes.
Perfectly.
Amazing. And Kensie has been in my community for several months now, maybe longer, but I really became aware of you when my dog was in the ICU and you had reached out to me and talked about some of the things that I was going through with him being in the ICU and manifesting his full recovery and like really leaning on my community to do that. And I know that you were in a similar spot with your wife at the time, right?
Exactly. Yes. And she was going through breast cancer treatment at the time.
Yeah. And I just remember when you reached out, for me, it was really powerful and it felt like really spiritually connected because I was really confident in manifesting Kingsley's recovery, and to be able to like show that and give you that support energetically through the Instagram portal, like
right.
that just really felt really connected and special for me.
Yeah, same. And I'm so glad he's doing well now, that they both are. So yeah, I'm glad we could connect through Instagram. It is kind of wild to do these types of things, but they always feel so divine. So I totally agree.
Yes, absolutely. Well, a bit about you now that we shared our personal connection. So Kensie is a nutrition-based healer. She works with nutrition, the energetics. She brings through manifestation and soul healing. And she specifically helps those that want help with chronic symptoms, moving through that and finding true healing or transitioning to plant-based nutrition. So if you are looking for any of those things, you're absolutely going to want to reach out to her on Instagram. She's at Mackensie Hesperia, and we'll make sure to put that in the show notes so you know how to spell that. But welcome, Kensie. I'm so excited to have you as part of this listener podcast.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here and just beaming for this opportunity just to sit and chat for a little bit.
Yeah. So Kensie was given the context of, you can ask me anything. We can talk about anything. I will coach you on anything as it's flowing through. So I'm really just going to give it over to you, and you can share what you feel called to share. I know you prepared some notes, so it's all in your hands now.
Yeah. So I did, I've been following you for a while. I kind of know your style, know what you're about, and I'm so deeply called to it and just love what you teach about and just absorb everything on your Instagram stories and that you offer to your community. So I'm first off super grateful for that. One of the things within my coaching and the aspects that I haven't really fully nailed down is deciding what to offer. I have so many directions I want to go in. It's kind of taught when we start out to focus more on one-on-one, build a full client base with individual sessions before moving on to other things. And I actually kind of did that backwards and started with group coaching as my first program. And I'm doing just one-on-one now, but I'm feeling really called to move back to that group format, or maybe like a hybrid format, And yeah, I would love your advice on how to tap in or navigate that
Yeah.
between what to offer, like what format to offer things in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something that's really supportive for me when I'm designing offers, especially when they're more like coaching and interactive versus like a
Mhm,
passive course type offer,
mhm,
is I'm really trying to feel into what is the journey that this person will go on,
mhm,
and what is my role in guiding them through that journey? How am I supporting them? What types of things are they going to move through? And for me, if I start with the journey, if I start with their point A and their point B, like where they're starting out and where they're going to end up, like what the transformation arc is, then that starts to inform the structure of the container. Like if I want it to be group, if I want it to be one-on-one, if I want it to be a hybrid, how many calls, yada yada yada, right?
mhm,
And also, what do you want?
mhm.
And I think that's really important to think about when you're creating a business for yourself. And especially in the beginning, you're doing so much of it as a solopreneur. And even if you have like a virtual assistant, which I'm not sure if you do or not, even
It's
if you
just me.
do, even if you do, you're still doing so much of it on your own. So it's really,
Mhm,
I think it's really important to also acknowledge, okay, what kind of lifestyle do I want? And
mhm.
is this offer that I'm dreaming up, that I'm excited about, truly going to support the lifestyle I want to be living or that I need to be living? Because we also
Yeah.
have like family obligations and other things
Mhm,
going on in our life besides business. So I would always check in with that first, because sometimes we have this amazing idea to have, like, for example, I want to host a live event at some point
mhm,
that's going to be bigger than like my mastermind retreat, which is already on the books.
mhm.
But in full acknowledgement of where I'm at right now, it doesn't feel like it's something I can add to my plate yet. And
Okay.
so I'm doing other things in between to kind of like bridge that gap and to get me
Mhm,
excited and resourced enough, both financially and also from like a team perspective, to be able to
mhm,
pull off a live event. So some things you may have on like your soul's wish list and you may like
mhm.
really deeply desire to do them, but maybe they don't make sense right now.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely, yeah, that hits a little bit.
Yeah. Do you want to share
Yeah.
more about the kinds of offers that you've been kind of like percolating on, and we can kind of go deeper from there?
Yeah, I feel a part of what my aligned clients crave is more community based and accountability with peers that are on the journey as well. Maybe not necessarily in the same exact spot as them, but going through my program the same way. So I'm really called to doing a hybrid format where my
Mm.
clients, do have one on one time with me to go down and find really root causes of their symptoms and really what foods to call in abundance for their healing, but also having those group calls of, hey, we're all going to pow out and kind of check in with each other and build that support and accountability and community together through, these 9 weeks that my program takes them through. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward hybrid, and even with some of the things I teach about, maybe recording lessons.
Mm.
So there's recorded lessons, and then we have one-on-one calls and group calls, which seems like a lot, but for the type of healing that I support with people and guide them through, that kind of feels like what would be that perfect magical mix of things to exponentially transform.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can see, like, I can actually see the clarity that you have with this. So I wonder if that's
Yes.
even a question you had, or if it's more like, am I ready to step into
Confirmation.
this?
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's also like balancing the free things, wanting to provide value on my Instagram and
Mm.
then, create that container that's more specifically that VIP experience of my magic. So yeah, I think I'm honing in on things, but definitely starting with, reflecting back on their transformation and where I want to um, help them embody their next level.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think really even like taking time to allow yourself to receive the guidance about the offer, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know how deep it sounds like your spiritual connection is pretty deep.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. so,
Very.
asking the questions that you want clarity on and really opening yourself up to be led to what that looks like. But it sounds like you have some pretty solid clarity on this one.
Yeah, maybe I could definitely make some more time for that. It is also, balancing that caregiver role. My wife has been
Yeah.
cancer free for a while, but it's still definitely that full time caregiver role that I'm balancing with my day job and, this passion and hobby that I have with coaching and getting started with that. So, yeah, it all happens in divine timing, I know. So it feels good to be kind of navigating through it all at once because my personal growth and that caregiving side is just providing even more experience and understanding and empathy for the clients that we will help. Um, yeah, so it feels really good. I think I could definitely take time to sit with that more and ask those direct questions and be open to receiving what comes from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for that.
I want to also honor you for all that you're balancing. That's
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Yes, yeah, it is a lot. It's funny because it's one of the most challenging seasons I feel like I've ever been through, like solo and, with a partner. We've been together for 9 years, so we've been through a lot, but it's crazy because with um, the information that I've learned from you, the journey I've been through, even just with what you share on Instagram, it feels like the happiest or most content and like best place that I've ever been, which years ago I would have been like, you can't even get through that. Like, that's not even possible. And now for it to feel so joyful and like so much abundance and gratitude while I'm in it just is shocking.
That's
So,
that's amazing. I mean, that's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah. And I mean, it feels great. That's what I want my clients to come to, even when, we're in the thick of healing. I still have healing to do myself. It's very much a work in progress. And
Yeah.
it feels so good to be there and be able to help lift people up to that place in their life as well.
Mm. Seeing you in that.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think if I had any other questions, it would be kind of relating to this process of entrepreneurship and really this deep, soulful, spiritual process with everything while being in a relationship. Like when your partner might not be 100% understanding or like totally get it necessarily and be,
Yeah.
in a different place in their journey. Navigating that or like how to hold space for them and respect where they are while also honoring where I'm at and kind of those differences.
Mm. I feel this question. Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear the dog next to me. He came in to cause chaos, but this is this one is a journey. Like, I don't know if there's a specific takeaway or like a really clear answer
Okay.
for this one because I've been on this journey with my partner. I think what I would say is knowing all the things that you are moving through personally, spiritually, emotionally, is not forcing the other person to catch up or
Mhm.
to adopt what you're adopting, but just allowing your living embodiment of all the
Mhm.
things you're moving through to provide the upgrades, so to speak, for them, or
Mhm.
the healing or the well-being for them. Because what I found, and I've been on this journey for a couple of years
Mhm.
with my husband, in the beginning, it was very rocky, very chaotic, very disconnected because I was still processing a lot of trauma. And I think when
Yeah.
you're still processing a lot, it can feel disconnected because you really do have to be very selfish during that time period.
Mhm.
But what I will say is, as you move through a lot of that trauma and as your partner stays with you on that journey, in the end, you come back to this deep unconditional love that can be felt, whether they're spiritual or not, whether they believe any of the stuff that you've been doing or not. Like they'll start to feel the difference, which
Mhm.
then causes their system, because we're all interconnected, right? So
Yes.
it then causes their system to respond to you in a more loving, spiritually connected way without them ever having to do a meditation, right? Like my husband
Mhm.
has never meditated.
Mhm.
And our relationship now, and I think it's also his desire to stay connected through it all. So I think it is a two-way street. There has to
Mhm.
be the desire on your partner's end.
Mhm.
But as we've moved through everything we've moved through, and as I've literally become a new human during my own trauma healing process, our relationship has only gotten closer
Mhm.
because I'm more heart connected, which brought out
Mhm.
his heart connection more and more. And there's a lot more understanding and compassion there that
Mhm.
didn't necessarily exist before.
Yes. I feel it is hard to be selfish in those moments, especially when, given what she's going through, health wise, it is so hard to be selfish in those moments and really um, focused in on me. And I try to take accountability wherever I can with, my time management and my priorities and where I'm putting my energy. And definitely, yes, I resonate with what you explained and kind of that almost like leading by example thing, like no forcing,
Mhm.
no, which is what I do with nutrition too for her, and leading by example there because I am not forcing any of my coaching things on her whatsoever. That would
Yeah.
not go over well. Um, so yeah, definitely leading by example and being at that uh, higher place so they can kind of resonate with that too and beam off of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Your partner will over time start to open up more and more as, again, as their desire to stay connected is still there. And as you lead by example, because little things that used to be like a big fucking deal for the
Hmm.
two of you or for you personally, speaking from my own experience, they stop being a big deal. And then they're like, wow, like there's something going on with you.
Hmm.
There's something to all this. And their curiosity, I think, is what actually starts to open them up to maybe doing a hypnosis to fall asleep. I
Yeah.
hypnotized my husband for the first time like a week ago before his
That's
first day of
awesome.
work. Yeah, because he was tossing and turning, worried about starting a new job, and I was like, "Do you want
Hmm.
me to hypnotize you?" And he was so resistant at first. He was like, "I don't know if it'll work." And I'm like, "Let's just try it."
Yes.
Within 20 minutes he was snoring.
I love that.
So I think it's, being the living embodiment and like
Hmm.
also like being the non-judgmental receiver of whatever
Hmm.
feedback they're giving you, right? Because there was a lot of times where with my husband, he just flat out didn't understand what I was going
Hmm.
through. And so I had to have a lot of compassion and acceptance for where he was at through that. And
Okay.
sometimes that's really hard because maybe you're not resourced enough to do that, which is again where kind of like the selfishness comes in.
Mhm.
You have to resource yourself for the good of the relationship and the good of the other person. But over time, their natural curiosity just starts to spark because they see the difference, they feel the difference. And then they're like, well, you seem like really at peace and happy. I could
Mhm.
use a little of that over here.
Right. Yes.
So,
Exactly. Luckily, she's very much into meditation and all the things. She's a meditation instructor
oh,
and
that's amazing.
super like movement focused and ways to, she has ADHD as well, outside of the breast cancer diagnosis and PTSD and other things that she's very open about. And I think that curiosity is what's like cracking open for her. So it's still like not quite understanding like what I'm going through as like that entrepreneur side of it, but definitely curious. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah. And indulging their curiosity, like inviting them to ask questions, or when they are asking questions, really taking the time to give a thoughtful response and to
Mm,
make sure they feel seen and heard. And I think also finding the opportunity to make things not about your business and not about your
yeah.
healing journey, because it's really easy to kind of get sucked into the microcosm of everything you're going through. I know I definitely did at times. And so I think
Mhm.
it's important too to make time for just couple stuff, whatever that looks like, if
Yeah.
it's watching Encanto together or
Yeah, we go and we're in a new area. We moved from California to Vegas and we have awesome parks here. So even
Mm.
though it's the desert and really hot right now, we got to go play basketball the other night, really late at night. So that was super fun. So that's a really good reminder to embrace those moments when we can take them just for us two with no distractions and just
Mhm.
us.
Yeah, totally. Do we feel complete on that question or anything else coming up for you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
beautiful.
My last question or like thing that I'm working through is pricing my offers.
Mm.
And I feel like that's going to go through a large shift. As I mentioned, kind of wanting to move into this hybrid format that I'm feeling called to. But any general advice or anything that comes up related to that? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a specific question. Just it's kind of that balance of my compassion and wanting to help people and healing from chronic illness myself and knowing what that's like, the challenges financially that's like, and being able to be a match for my aligned clients with what they're willing to invest, when they're in the thick of their healing and maybe severe symptoms versus providing for our lifestyle and supporting our family as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This is very nuanced, very complex, and very personal.
Mhm.
So I'll just share some like general things to consider.
Totally.
I think for me, what's always been important is I have to feel excited to show up for the thing, whatever the thing
Mhm.
is. And as like super empathic people who want to help people and in a healing type role,
Mhm.
sometimes we can be excited to show up for $0, which is kind of tough. So we have to look at, okay, will I be excited and will I be fully supported at this price
Mhm.
point? I think that has to come before anything else. Am I
Mhm.
excited to show up and do I feel fully supported at this price point with the capacity that I can maximum have and like minimum have? So if you
Mhm.
have a group program with, let's say, 10 people, then you can charge in some ways less versus
Mhm.
someone you're working with one-on-one where they're getting a call with you every week, or they're taking a lot of your time and energy, you just absolutely have to charge more for that to support your lifestyle, right?
Right.
So, looking at capacity, looking at what would make you excited and feel supported. And I think the other piece too is if you were thinking of the most empowered version of your soulmate client who is truly ready to change, who is truly ready to do the deeper work, the challenging shifts that come with changing your nutrition, right? Like if you were thinking of this person who wants to grow, what feels like an empowering, expansive investment for them? I think where we often get into trouble and undercharge or underprice ourselves is when we're thinking of the person who already can't afford it. And if we price ourselves based on that, we're actually going to meet a lot of resistance from the field because that's the person we're thinking of. Now, that's not to say you can't do sliding scale spots and like other things to serve the community in other ways, right? But when you're thinking about this is my livelihood, this is the amount of money I need to support my lifestyle, this is the amount of people I can reasonably serve from a place of being well-resourced myself, then what I would recommend or suggest is think of the most empowered person who's excited to pay, right? And like, what would they be excited to pay you versus the person who doesn't want to pay you anyway? Because again, you'll meet all that resistance in the field if that's how you price yourself.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I like that perspective a lot. And I will find ways to serve my community for those that, can't necessarily fathom the more luxury pricing and what my full program is at. So it'll definitely all work out and come together.
Yeah. And I would say too, like your actual soulmate clients, like the dream clients that you want to be working with, want you to be well resourced so that you can show up as your 100%.
Yes.
The people who may, not be able to fathom the investment at a luxury price point may need more time to warm up to something like this. They may get so much value out of your free content and like that's how they support themselves, or they may inquire if you end up doing sliding scale or some sort of spot like that about one of those options. And I think you have to balance, like, if we're truly serving from overflow, that means you're included in that. That means your needs are served first. You fill yourself up first, and then you serve the world from that overflow.
That's such a good point, and yeah, such a good perspective. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, any other questions in these final moments or reflections or shares? Anything you're feeling called to say?
That is just powerful. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll have to sit with this and probably journal a little bit and kind of process everything. But I just appreciate your insight and perspective in it all.
Thank you so much, Kensie. And thank you for being our first guest listener on the Soul Expansion podcast. This has been really fun. And guys, if you want to check out Kensie, she's at Mackensie Hesperia on Instagram. You can also see her in the show notes if you're interested in working with her. And then if you're interested in doing one of these listener coaching Q&A type spots, reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at Kristen Kaczynski. We're doing a limited series of these here and there. So they're not going to be happening all the time, but they will be sprinkled in. And I would love to hear from you if you'd like to be on the show. So thanks so much. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the show today. Thank you for being a loyal listener. If you've listened more than once, I really appreciate your time, your focus, your energy, and your attention. And so it is my heartfelt request that if you got something out of this episode, please write us a review, rate us, tell us exactly what you want to say, speak from the heart, speak from your soul. No review is too short or too long or anything that's too much or not good enough. It's all good. It's all good. We really love and appreciate your feedback. It just helps us make the show better and better, and it helps us get the show out to more people. As a reward for your time and energy writing a review, just take a screenshot of it before you hit submit and email it to us at support@KristenKaczynski.com, and we will give you free access to my Work Less, Make More, The Vibe Masterclass and Integration Deepening Call. This is over 3 hours of content that was recorded in 2022, early 2022. On my website, I currently charge money for it. I don't remember what we priced it at, but it's not currently for free anywhere else unless you write a podcast review, screenshot that review, and send us an email. So the email address is support@KristenKaczynski.com. I would love to gift you this free gift for your time and energy being a listener and writing a review. So if you have a few moments right now, I would really appreciate your words, your feedback, your shares, and your love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I so appreciate you. And I'll talk to you soon.